Dana Price here with my week 2 video talking about finding our voice. The most daunting aspect of finding my voice for me is success auditing. Not because I have a hard time with feedback or criticism, but because my support system is not strong and well defined. I am satisfied with the clarity of my values, which was one of the questions. I think years of introspection, prayer, scripture really have defined it for me. I use Matthew 22:37 through 40 and 1 John 4:7 and 8 and verse 11 and 12. Those are my main guides, my main scripture guides for everyday values. And it's how I approach life. It's how I try to live my life. Matthew 22:37 through 40 says, love your God with the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. And the second commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. That's the NIV translation. I left out a little bit in the middle. And then 1 John 4:7 and 8. I learned this a song when I was a kid. I'm not going to sing it for you, but the NIV version says, dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God, and everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. And whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. And then in 11 and 12, it goes on to say, dear friends, since God so loved us, we also ought to love one another. No one has ever seen God, but if we love one another, God lives in us, and his love is made complete in us. And this is so true, and it so drives everything that I try to do every single day of my life. So I feel like my values are very clearly defined. Where I run into trouble with the success auditing is I feel like you have to measure what you believe about yourself with what feedback you get from the people around you. What do they perceive of you? Because sometimes our perceptions, like we know in our head what our motivation is and where we're going and what we're doing, but if we don't always communicate that well and openly with the people around us, then they may take what we're doing completely differently because they don't know our motivations. Only we know them. So I try to measure how I'm coming across, how people are reading me, how my communication skills are working, to see if I'm meeting the standards I've set for myself, the values I've set for myself. And sometimes I feel like my support system is skewed and they don't value the same things that I value. Success is not in helping someone else achieve a goal. Success for them is you are on top. And it really hit home with me. Kim Blanchard says in chapter 7, Reflections on Encourage the Heart, in our second text, Christian Reflections on the Leadership Challenge. He said, he asked the question, are you a servant leader or a self-serving leader? For me, I try really hard to be a servant leader, but I think my support system, unfortunately, a lot of them fall in self-serving leaders. So success is always measured about how far you've come, what position you hold, how much money you're making, all of those things. And for me, I just want to be able to take care of myself and not struggle, but I want to be helping people every day. And I feel like if I am not helping people every day, then I'm not being successful. If I'm not serving our God and showing love to our fellow man, then I'm failing. So for me, success auditing is the most difficult because I try to measure my success on how do people perceive. Is it the same way I am being motivated? Are they getting it? Or am I not communicating that well? So that's my answer. Sorry to ramble just a little bit. Thanks for listening.